Welcome to another wonderful week in integrating language arts instruction into your classroom. And we're really going to focus on looking at professional organizations and the scaffolding documents. What does it take to be a proactive practitioner in the reflective practice of teachers or educators? So we'll begin. Don't forget to check out your Module 3 checklist. That's very important. I'm going to break up the videos. So the first videos I will introduce the learning goal and essential question with a hook. So that's what's going to be in this video. So let's get started. Our learning goal today is our content goal. Of course, is professional organizations, scaffolding documents, and being a proactive practitioner. And then our essential question is, how can the professional organizations help enable me to be a proactive practitioner? And in the last module, I placed several standards of what does practice look like in a classroom. Because I don't want to lose the discussion board, I'm going to leave the presentation on like this. So let's look at reflective practitioner. This presentation is within your Module 3. I'm not a big reader, but there are three common terms that you need to know. Reflective, and then what is a practitioner, and that's someone who practices in a profession, and then how the reflective practitioner, we're so much different than just being reflective. It's reflecting on our practice. What does really being conscious of your craft mean? When we talk about conscious of your craft, and you'll learn this as you're going through, especially when you get into the classroom, you're going to do the for action. That means you're proactive teacher. And then the in action is while you're teaching. And then the on action is like looking at your failures. For example, I'm currently planning lessons for my 6th grade class. And as a proactive, reflective practitioner, I am looking at what reading level groups do I need to place together, and how do I need to design my instruction to support my lower level readers, but bump up my readers who are average, try to get them higher, and then also how can I bump my higher ones to an even higher level. And so that's actually being in the for action. And so I've given you some details of what for action looks like and what it would entail. You actually are starting to look at your educational philosophy and thinking about that. You're looking at your management system. I'll tell you, your first years in the classroom are going to be spent working on classroom management. And it's very hard, and hang in there for those first few years, because I never honed in on my practice of classroom management until about the 4th or 5th year, but every class group I get is different. So you're always reflecting and being that reflective practitioner. When we talk about inaction, we're kind of adjusting the pace for the lesson. Here's an example. I'm teaching my writing class to use Google Classroom. And I'm noticing I have these great plans to walk them through it and to carry them through, because some of these students come with some technology, because we have a computer lab and other teachers have used Google Docs. But as I was walking through, I noticed, while going through my lesson, I noticed my students weren't being very successful. And so I actually had to adjust midstream and make changes right then. So it's your pace of the lesson. Sometimes you have to teach the whole lesson again, or parts of the lesson again, because it just didn't go well. Then we'll talk about on action. That's sitting down and ever thinking about just thinking about how did the lesson go? Did the students enjoy the lesson? And that's a question I constantly forget and have to remind myself. Am I making the lesson enjoyable for the students? And then were they on task and engaged? What did they learn? Did they actually learn the objectives, the targets that I wanted them to learn? Sometimes you have to alternate your plans. My partner and I noticed that our students were not doing so well in centers, so we had to adjust our centers to show, okay, how can we make it better for the students? And so again, you are constantly learning just like the students, and you're reflecting on your practice, and that's within any profession. Doctors have reflective practices. Business managers reflect on their practice. That's just being a reflective practitioner, a professional in the business of reflecting on their practice. All right, so when we talk about reflection, we're going to look at when a lesson goes wrong, and here are the questions that you really want to focus on. And these are some very interesting questions. And yes, we're going to be looking at when a lesson goes wrong. And so this is part of our hook. So I want you to actually watch this lesson on your own, because this is going to go into our focus instruction on being a reflective practice. And it's a teaching channel. Here's the link. Go to it and take a look at it, okay? Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for part 2.